Welcome to the first class in the course on true success. My name is Mark Fallon-cyr. My wife is Maureen. I'm a psychiatrist and Maureen is a clinical social worker. We have both been working with kids, adults, and families for more than 30 years. And together with our colleagues, we've been working on this project on true success for over a decade. So I'm very excited to be sharing it with you now. We hear a lot about success in today's world, but it's not always clear how to go about achieving it. Frequently, we can end up struggling in a number of areas of our lives. For example, we may do great at work only to come home and have difficulties in our relationships. The purpose of this course is to help us live truly successful lives, to help you live a truly successful life. True success is a new way to think about success, a new vision of success, which is available for all of us. True success is living and expressing who we truly are as best we can given the conditions of our lives. Now it's going to take some time to fully explore what that means, and that's why there's a whole course. We want to help you create a meaningful, fulfilling life, a rich, dynamic life that's full of joy and reflects your passions and dreams. And to do this across your life, at work, with your family, with your friends, and in your community. Today, I'm introducing true success by sharing how we came to it. The journey began many years ago with our work in mental health, helping kids, adults, and families with a wide range of problems. There's a story which captures a very significant piece of this experience. It's called the river story. The story goes like this. Two people are walking along a river when they suddenly realize that there are a lot of kids in the river, and these kids are struggling and drowning. They immediately jump in and begin pulling out as many as possible. They work tirelessly, but there's no way to save all the kids. There are too many. In fact, there are more and more and more coming down the river all the time. At this point, one of the rescuers gets out and begins walking upriver. The other one says, "Hey, where are you going?" And the first one responds, "I'm going to see how all these kids are getting into the river in the first place." This is a powerful story, for not only does it capture much of what is going on in mental health, but it also captures much of what is going on in our world today. But it's not just kids in the river. It is young and old. It is people of all ages, all races, all cultures, all classes, and all levels of education. Being in the river symbolizes the ways in which we struggle and flounder as human beings. Being in the river represents the problems which we experience in life, both as individuals and collectively as societies. Much of the work that Maureen and I have done has been directed towards helping people get out of the river and stay out. Fortunately, in our world, there are many people committed to this process. But I can say, from 30 years of experience as a doctor, and just from looking around at what's happening on our planet, there are too many people in the river. The suffering involved in being in the river can be tremendous. The cost on all levels is staggering. Frequently, our methods of helping aren't effective enough, and the truth is that we simply do not have enough resources to do all that needs to be done. Therefore, like the one rescuer in the story, we need to head upriver and see what is going on. So, what do we find when we head upriver? You may or may not be surprised, but the first thing we discover is that human beings are the main cause of how we end up in the river in the first place. We are the main cause. Now, yes, there are things like natural disasters, accidents, and genetic anomalies that cause people to end up in the river, but these only make up a minority of our problems. We are the main cause. We do this through our actions and inactions, and we do this as individuals and as societies. Take a moment to think of someone you know who is struggling in life. Are their problems human-caused? Explaining the truth of our finding upriver could be a whole talk itself, but I just want to provide a few examples to bring clarity to our minds. First, reflect about what we hear on the news. We hear about wars, terrorism, crime, corruption, violence of all kinds. We hear about pollution and inequities between people on so many different levels. Aren't these most often human-caused? And it's not just what we hear on the news. In my training as a doctor, I was surprised to discover that most of our medical and mental health problems, the ones which cause the most pain and suffering and cost the most money, are human-caused. While it's true that many illnesses may have genetic vulnerabilities, most of our actual health problems are human-caused. This occurs because of culturally conditioned habits, lifestyle choices, exposures, such as what we eat and the pollution in our cities, or if we have experienced abuse. Now, this may be hard to believe and difficult to hear, but if we head upriver, this is what we find. And there are other ways we cause difficulties in our lives. Think about your own life. In the places where you struggle, how often is it human-caused? Our suffering can take many forms. We may have experienced abuse or trauma. We can have worries, fears, intense self-criticism. We can experience angst and lack of meaning in our lives. Not to mention all the different ways we lack skills and struggle in intimate relationships. In all of these examples, humans are the main cause of our problems, and this is true on personal, social, and global levels. I want to make it clear that humans are not doing this on purpose. This is not our intention at all. We just haven't yet learned a better way. In fact, in sitting with people over these 30 years, many have told me that they want to be successful. I believe that we all want to be successful. We all have a deep longing for a meaningful, fulfilling life. This is core in us. It is central to our being. However, we may not talk about it this way, and it may be buried beneath the busyness and distractions of our day-to-day lives. But whenever we look deep into ourselves, we find this longing for success. Take a moment to notice, isn't this what you want? We all have this desire. As an example, let me tell you about one time I was asked to do a psychiatric evaluation of a 17-year-old girl in foster care whom I will call Maya. Maya had a challenging history. She was born into poverty with two substance-abusing parents who battled in domestic violence while she was on the side neglected. Over time, she was abused herself and had no one in her life supporting her. Eventually, she was removed from the home and placed in foster care. But due to some unfortunate events, she bounced through a series of foster homes. By the time I was meeting with Maya, she had had many difficulties for a long time. She was depressed, angry, and started to abuse substances. She rarely went to school, and at times she was even suicidal. She didn't have anything constructive going on in her life. She was lost and had no direction. Once Maya was settled in and we had a good connection, I was trying to find something positive in her life that she could relate to. So I asked her, Maya, what is important to you? What matters to you? What do you want with your life? She sat there quietly for quite some time, appearing deep in thought. And then she looked up and said, I want to be successful. Well, at first this took me back because here I was working on this project on true success, and have those words come out of her mouth surprised me. But then it made sense because Maya embodied this longing that we all have for a successful, meaningful life. I find it myself, my family, my friends, my clients. Everyone wants to be successful, regardless of the conditions of our life. Don't you? As I have continued to work with people over these 30 years, I have realized that not only do we long for a successful, meaningful life, but each one of us also has abundant potential. As human beings, we come into this world with a tremendous amount of promise and capabilities. As a psychiatrist, I've been fortunate to consult in schools for many years, and it is so wonderful when I get to go into a kindergarten classroom. I love seeing all that potential, the excitement, the aliveness, the energy, the curiosity, the creativity. It's bubbling up and spilling out all over the place. I find this so inspiring and reassuring. Some potential we share collectively, just by being human. But we also have potential that is unique to us as individuals. Each one of us has a deep richness inside. Each one of us has unique gifts to develop and share with the world. But while we all long for a successful, meaningful life, and while each one of us has abundant potential, many of us never get there and we get stuck in the river. Why? How do we create so many problems for ourselves? Why don't we express more of our true capabilities? What is going on here? From our investigations, we have found a central problem leading to our difficulties. The problem is that we lack a clear, effective, guiding vision of what a truly successful life looks like and how to live it. We are missing something fundamental in our pursuit to live a meaningful life. Success is something that we all want, but we are confused. Now, we do live in a success culture, and we have ideas of success all around us. But there are many myths about our success culture and about what will bring us happiness and satisfaction. One myth has to do with our current icons of success, which are money, fame, power, and winning. Often we strive after these, believing that they will bring us fulfillment, but frequently it just doesn't happen. And we all know people who've had them all, yet lived tragic lives. Most of us know the pop star Justin Bieber, who has had plenty of money, fame, power, and winning. And yet he is quoted as saying, "Well, what is this worth if I'm still feeling empty inside? It was like I had all this success, and it was like I'm still sad, and I'm still in pain, and I still have these unresolved issues." Now, I want to be clear. I do not believe there is anything inherently wrong with money, fame, power, or winning. In fact, they can bring satisfaction and richness to our lives. But pursuing them in and of themselves does not bring us a meaningful life. And this is where the confusion lies. Another myth of our success culture is that we often believe that success in one area of our lives will bring success across our lives. And this is just not true. We may be a gifted teacher who struggles with alcohol, or a talented doctor who's brought down by depression, or an awesome athlete who's benched because of a bad attitude. These are all very painful. The myths of our success culture don't work. And this is what I mean when I say we lack a clear vision of real success and how to live it. When we are confused about what's important, we can chase after the wrong thing. For example, when I graduated from medical school, I headed to the Northeast to Yale to do my internship in adult medicine. It just so happened that I was placed in a hospital in one of the wealthiest counties of this country, where people had plenty of money, fame, power, and winning. However, when I met them, they were facing their own mortality in some fashion or another. And often, when we face our mortality, it leads us to reflect upon our life and how we have lived. One man I worked with, whom I'll call Robert, had all the icons. He ran his own business in New York City. He married the right, beautiful woman. He lived in a magnificent house, belonged to the country club, and had many influential friends. But when I met Robert, he had terminal cancer and was going to die. Robert told me that he was devastated, but not because he had cancer and was going to die. He had been sick for some time, and this had led him to reflect upon his life. He was devastated with what he saw. Robert came from an affluent family that had achieved much in the world, and it was expected that he would do the same. He was given many opportunities in life, and one of these happened years ago when he was given the opportunity to attend an Ivy League college. But he told me that it was while he was in college that he had some misgivings. He felt that he was missing something important in life. He didn't know what it was, but he came up with a plan to take some time off college to figure out his passions. To make a long story short, Robert and his father battled over this plan, and his father pressured him to stay the family course. So Robert backed down and returned to college. He was talented, worked hard, and with his family influence, he was able to achieve all the cultural icons. But Robert told me he realized he hadn't lived his own life. He had lived the life of his father and brothers. The company he ran was not his passion, but worse yet, he didn't even know what his passions were. He felt like he had given up the chance to find out when he was in college. He and his wife had an efficient relationship, but they didn't really love each other. He had 2 sons and knew that he had somehow pressured them to follow the same path he did. Sadly, they were not close. And now he was going to die, and he didn't feel that he had enough time to do anything about it. So he was devastated. Robert had an image of success, and he followed the standard path of success that society lays out for us. And yet, like so many others, he didn't find this to be truly fulfilling. Robert didn't have a guiding vision of real success, and he didn't have the skills to stand up for what he knew was true for himself. In our society, Robert is on one end of the spectrum and Maya is on the other. But in some ways, they had very similar issues. In coming back to the story of Maya, when I asked her about what she wanted in life, she said, "I want to be successful." I then asked her, "Maya, what does that look like? What does a successful life mean to you?" She sat there quietly, deep in thought, and then looked up and said, "I don't know." Now, Maya probably could have said money, fame, power, or winning, but in that moment, she was looking for something deeper. The stories of Robert and Maya illustrate our key finding that across society, we lack a clear image of true success and how to live it. We're all striving after success, after happiness, after fulfillment. We're all working hard, but frequently, the dreams we're chasing and the things we're doing aren't doing it for us. In fact, they can often be what get us stuck in the river. In Maya's attempts to feel good, she was substance abusing and not going to school. Robert was chasing after money and power, but he lost out on living his real passions and having real intimacy with his family. What then is the something deeper that Maya was looking for? What was Robert really searching for? What is the true success we're all longing for? Maureen and I, along with some of our colleagues, decided to track down a vision of true success. As part of our investigation, we asked many people, what is true success? It turns out that answering this question is not so straightforward, which isn't too surprising given what I just said about our lack of clear vision. For example, in one particular workshop, Maureen and I asked a group this question. We were doing a presentation for 35 teachers on social-emotional learning. We opened the presentation by asking the teachers to name problems that interfere with their teaching in the classroom. They quickly rattled off answers. Conflicts between kids, lack of motivation, no group skills, emotional neediness, disrespect, distractibility, impulsiveness, anger, aggression, home difficulties, mental health issues, relationship problems, substance abuse. The list goes on. They were really charged up. Then we said to them, okay then, what is true success? What is a truly successful life? The room suddenly fell silent, and there were a lot of confused and puzzled looks. In a slightly irritated way, one teacher asked what we meant. Are you talking about money or power or education? We responded, make it personal. What do you believe is true success? But still, they struggled. In order to help them focus, we offered, think of people that you believe live truly successful lives, and then name the qualities, skills, and attributes of these truly successful people. Even with this added focus, they still struggled at first, but after a few moments, they began to warm up. A teacher called out, truly successful people follow their passions. Another said, truly successful people have good people skills. The answers start coming faster and faster. Truly successful people know how to solve problems. They set goals and follow through. They are self-aware. They know their strengths and weaknesses. The teachers offered that successful people are self-disciplined and self-motivated. They display clear and flexible thinking. They talked about truly successful people having integrity, working to do their best, being lifelong learners, seeking to understand. They finished up by saying, truly successful people give back to their community and are happy and content with life. While each person generally had one or two responses, collectively we created a long, full list. As the teachers were calling out their answers, they became energized and lively. They were tapping into their longing for success. If you notice, nowhere on the list is money, fame, power, or winning. We continued to ask many different groups these same questions. Now, this was not a structured research project, but we gathered a lot of information on the qualities, skills, and attributes of truly successful people. We collected hundreds of nuanced responses. As we were looking at this list of success traits, we realized that there was remarkable consistency across different groups. By studying and reflecting upon the list, we saw some interesting patterns emerge. The numerous responses are constructive attributes of human beings. And when we broke them down, we saw two different threads that were evident. The first thread includes the qualities and skills of personal development. For example, being self-aware, having integrity and discipline, being creative, seeing the big picture, and being self-actualized. The second thread has to do with social development, such as the ability to listen, caring about others, having good social problem-solving skills, giving back to the community, helping others to shine. And one of my favorites came from a woman whose husband was dying from cancer. She said, Truly successful people know how to love and be loved. These two threads can be brought together into one group, and we decided to call this group Personal and Social Competency. Truly successful people are personally and socially competent. Take a moment and consider how different this is from money, fame, power, and winning. Personal and social competence is a big part of true success. We can then ask, is personal and social competence part of our human nature? We believe it is. We believe that the capacity and inclination to develop personal and social competence is part of our human nature. This is good news. This capacity to work and develop personal and social competence is already inside of us. That is why it became so easy for the teachers to find answers and why they became so energized. It was right there, waiting to be discovered. For personal and social competence is part of our true nature. Therefore, getting in touch with, understanding, and developing our true nature is how we become truly successful. The purpose of this course is to help you live a truly successful life. This course will help you to connect to your true nature and develop your personal and social competence. This leads us to our vision of true success. Living our true nature as best we can, right here in this moment, and helping others to do the same. This is how we have a successful life. This is what Robert and Maya were looking for. Fully developing an understanding of our true nature and personal and social competence will take some time, but they are essential to living a meaningful, fulfilling life, to living a dynamic, authentic life, to living a truly successful life. Throughout this course, we will be laying out a map or a model of true success and how to live it. We will build a common vocabulary and a shared understanding of what it means to live a truly successful life. We will explore specific skills which can be learned, developed, and cultivated that will make you more successful. We will offer these teachings in lessons, reflections, and experiential exercises, all the while building a clear framework that you can take out into the world. To this end, I ask that you engage. Engage with this course, engage with us, and most importantly, engage with yourself. Bring this material into your life, check it out, and see what it does for you. I have often wondered about Maya and Robert and so many others that I've worked with over the years. If they had been given a vision of true success and the skills and support to connect to their true nature, would they have ended up in the river? How would their lives have changed by living their dreams and passions? What sort of individual gifts would they have brought to the world? And now, as I'm presenting this, I wonder, through the development of true success, what kind of unique brilliance will you bring to the world? I look forward to sharing this journey with you.